I'm here in Pebble Beach, California for Monterey Car Week, but I am a few blocks away right now. As a matter of fact, this is literally an undisclosed location. It's a private residence where Automobili Pininfarina rented for some exclusive clients to take a very first look at their brand new hypercar that they've been working on for a while. You've seen some images that I've released on my show and in the media. There were some sketches, right? And they were pretty cool. I was lucky enough to see this car at the prototype of this car myself just about half an hour ago, and I have to say, wow, I really thought those pictures were just kind of fantasy land type of the thing, but the car really does look absolutely amazing, and they've done a great job actually transferring the vision that we see in those pictures into the actual car. So now I've once again, you probably know, I've talked to Michael Perschke, their CEO, over Skype a few months ago when they were just kind of starting out and starting to release some of the information about the car. And I've sat down, he's here. He traveled all the way here to take this car pretty much on tour to some potential clients. I sat down with him and I'm going to show you guys my conversation with him. And that and a few other interesting things that I wanted to mention, all coming up next.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, electric.
If this is your first time on this channel and you're interested in staying up to date on everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you don't miss anything moving forward. And of course, I want to mention that this video and this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. There's a discount code in the description of this video so you can save yourselves a few bucks when you shop there. All right, so just like I said, I'm a little bit speechless because I really did not expect this car to look as good as it did, and we talked more about the design and what went into it. And of course, you know, the brand of Pininfarina, the expectations are very high, and I think once you guys see it, once they release these pictures, I think you will see that it incorporates so many amazing things that Pininfarina has done for other brands before. So I've sat down with Michael right here. We had some drinks and had a pretty honest conversation about the brand, what's coming up in their vision. And here's what he had to say. We're here at Pebble Beach for Monterey Car Week, but we're in kind of an undisclosed location. I feel like I'm interviewing a Russian spy. It's like no one's supposed to know where we are. But so you're here in America. And you guys have this car ready to go, the design almost finished. It's beautiful. Tell me where you are right now and why we should be excited about what's coming up.
Very good question. I think where we are is up to March. There was a dream. It was mentioned again by Paolo Pininfarina at Geneva. The dream was to have an own branded Pininfarina branded car. I think we marched very fast. On 18th of April, the company was announced, the brand was announced on the back of a Formula E race in Rome. So we're barely 4 months later here in Pebble Beach. I think one of the most beautiful locations if you want to launch a luxury car and a luxury brand. And we have a ready-made design model, which is probably 80–85% near the final design completion. So from a dream, we very fast went to a realization. And I think if you say where we are, we have a design model. The brand is taking shape. We have a team on board. I think I have a great management team recruited. And we have a path to Geneva in 2019 very clearly defined. So I think we're moving pretty fast.
You are. And so tell us, for those who are maybe not familiar, what is it that you guys are working on? Tell me a little bit about the car, the power, the range. It's all electric. And tell me why you believe why did you pick the all electric technology over gas technology to create a perfect car?
Well, see, when you have 88 years of history and legendary design heritage, yet at the same time you are not a car maker yet, but you have that great design piece, and you can start with a white piece of paper. Now you could go back, and I say specifically go back to combustion engines, or you go forward, say what is future technology? It is for sure emission free, zero emission at tailpipe, and the best to achieve it right now is electric technology. But not only for emissions, it's also abundance of performance. I think no other technology right now can give you this kind of acceleration and speed we have with electrification. And if you want to position yourself as somebody who is a pioneer with principles, the best thing is say, hey, we're Pininfarina. I mean, no explanation on the brand. Connoisseurs know that as good as a Chateau Lafite or Rothschild in the wine industry. We did beautiful designs, but we are forward-looking. We're creating a car for 2025, 2030. EV was a natural choice. And I think with that also we take a sweet spot. The first luxury zero-emission company.
Now, what do you say to, for example, McLaren? Once again, they emphasize that they just can't make an all-electric car right now, and it's at least 5 years away for them to create an all-electric car that would be up to the hypercar standards. What do you say to them? Because obviously you guys are able to achieve it now.
Well, now is a little bit exaggerated, 2020. I don't know what his thought process within McLaren, I think would be a guesstimate, so I wouldn't comment on that. But we say, you know, until you haven't tried, you don't know if you can't do it. We're just going for it, and this is our target, and we put everything in place to make it happen. So I think we have not given ourselves any other choice than making this our mission. And therefore, and we're not doing it all by ourselves. We are also looking at some partners who already have some experience in that space, plus we have a 5-year racing experience on Formula E with electrification. And we think it's doable. Yeah, it's a stunt, but I think it's a stunt we are confident we're able to do that, and we package the technology with a great design, and I think that will make us unique.
I do have to agree. When I hear the statements from them, it is almost for a lack of trying. It's not like they've tried and realized they couldn't do it. I feel like it's almost a cop-out, but that's just my opinion. All right, so let's concentrate back on Pininfarina. You guys have done designs and technology for other brands, and you decided finally let us use our own thing. So name a couple of things that I think you guys can do better for yourselves than you could ever do before. What are these technologies that you think are coming together in this car?
I think it's not one single asset or one single resource or one single capability. I think it's a culmination of a couple of different ingredients which finally create a great different product. I think first and foremost we're building on the DNA which is all about purity. The purity of a design and the purity of the emission. Secondly, it is the performance. Thirdly, it's beauty. And fourthly, it's rarity. And I think in that combination, especially for our first product, we think nobody else has a similar package comparable to ours right now on the offering. And I think that gives us a specific USP, plus a great team, a very solid shareholder with a long-term view. And I think based on that, we're very comfortable and very confident that we will make a dent and an edge. And the encouragement we got over the last couple of days here in Pebble Beach is amazing. You know, there's instant confidence in the brand and the design capabilities. There's great partnerships we have in the making on the technology side. And I think we build a great team with people who have done similar things with other brands, but who are really intrigued to do it in a very different context now.
Let's talk about just some specifics, at least the ones that you can release right now. Talk about the horsepower, talk about the battery size, talk about the range, talk about just all of those specifics that I know everyone's going to wonder about the car.
Well, I would give first a relative explanation and then an absolute. So the relative explanation is we're doing a car which has 1900 horsepower. But what does that mean? It's twice the amount of power you get actually in a Formula One car. And what does that achieve for you? You know, power is relative, but what does it take you? By the glimpse of an eye, at 2 seconds you had 62 miles an hour. You do that a couple of times, after 12 seconds you had 186 miles an hour. The acceleration is as fast as an F-16 on an aircraft carrier. So that's an insane acceleration. We can do crazy max speeds. We're still deciding what max speed we put into the car and do it as a standard offering, and if we do a certain level of limitation because of our road safety. We have on the other hand side a huge level of usability. You can do actually Los Angeles, Pebble Beach more or less in one single charge, 310 miles. We have 125 kilowatt of battery power. So these are some of the ingredients, and there are more to come. So we feel, it's a Hyper GT car. It can be used on a day-to-day basis, and it has an amazing performance. But first and foremost, for anybody who speaks Italian, soprattutto deve essere bella means above all, it's a Pininfarina, and therefore it must be beautiful.
By the way, when are you guys starting production? When are you, where, when, and when do you think the very first customer is going to drive the car?
So the car start of production is going to be around end of third quarter, early fourth quarter 2020. So a little bit more than 2 years from now. We're going to produce it in Cambiano, in Italy, at the headquarters of Pininfarina SPA, our sister company, and it's going to be handmade, full craftsmanship, and it's exactly the same facility where Pininfarina also assembles one-off products for different brands or individual clients. So it's full Italian craftsmanship. End of 2020, first delivery, and we're good to go to probably launch the car globally to the world in March 19 next year in Geneva.
All right, so let's say somebody wants to buy the car. What are the requirements, if you have any, and how do they get in touch with you guys? Because, I mean, obviously you're doing private tours, and people who are serious about buying it can see the car now. If somebody wants to check out the car, and I don't know if you have a reservation list, what's the down payment and so forth. Tell me about the process for somebody who's truly interested in the car.
Absolutely, and I think it's important. I think we very first time exposing the car here in Pebble Beach. We chosen that location because for such a car, Pebble Beach is the right place in the Monterey Car Week. We have a small roadshow planned ahead of this. We're touching upon San Francisco, Los Angeles, probably Houston, Miami, and Greenwich, New Jersey / New York. We're looking at 50 cars allocation for the US. We have a reservation process in place. For the last couple of days, we already clocked in very good reservation numbers. The response has been great. We're asking for 10% down payment on the X-Works price, which is $200,000. Sounds a lot, maybe, but honestly, I think we have a great, compelling value proposition with an amazing car. You can confirm if you like.
I can definitely confirm.
So it's pretty, it's beautiful, it's awesome. It has great performance, and it has its rarity to it. And as a pioneer with principles, with a zero emission, the fastest hypercar made ever in Italy, I think they have a lot it takes. So if anybody wants to inquire, he can request on our website, request for private viewing, or request for having a chance to be at the roadshow, being invited by some of our retailer representation partners. And there he can see the design model, which we're showing here on a confidential basis yet. Driving is a little bit down the road, but this car is already pretty close to what the final design will look like. A small evolution till Geneva, but we feel with the response we have, probably in the best / worst case for a consumer, we will have all reservations done in the North American market by end of September.
That's pretty aggressive, I have to say, for this price point. Let's talk a little bit about the future. I can't imagine you guys just making this car and just stopping at it. I'm assuming there's something else coming up. I know we talked about it a little bit privately. Tell my audience a little bit what can they expect beyond this car, and will you maybe at some point improve it and make a version 2, or you will move on to other type of cars?
Well, first and foremost, this is the first ever Pininfarina branded hypercar. Even if we do another one day down the road, it's not going to be the same. This is the Founders Edition. This is the initial masterpiece. This will always have its very special pages in our history book. So just to make it clear, this is very special to us. It's very dear to us, and we put our best efforts in to make that something unique. But after that car, and I would say this is a little bit our claim to fame, but the brand is positioned where it should be positioned, as a super luxury, very exclusive, and yet very inviting zero emission brand. The next car is going to be a little bit more of a lifestyle body style, so more functional in a way, yet very sporty. It will have 4 seats, yet it will perform like a super sports car. It will still be in the league of probably 500 to 600 kilowatt. It will have a price point around 200, 250K US dollars. And again, it will use similar design items and styling items like you see on the Hypercar, introduced in a different body style segment.
Now, we're sitting in front of a gas car right now, but it's not an accident that we picked this spot in this private residence here in Pebble Beach. Tell me a little bit about the car behind us.
Well, it's the Cisitalia 202. It's a car. I mean, you did a few beautiful shots, and maybe you should do a little quiz before we answer. How old is that car? And surprisingly, it's 70 years old. So it absolutely aged in style. We say it's a little bit like Sophia Loren, or for the US, maybe Jane Fonda. But it hasn't used any help to look like this. And it's the car we're super proud of, designed in 1947. It is a masterpiece of Pininfarina Italian design. And it's not exactly the same color configuration, but this specific model is standing also in the Museum of Modern Art. So it stands for the timelessness of a Pininfarina design.
All right, so as we mentioned, right now Pininfarina is not going to release any pictures of the car, just the drawings and an extra image that they just released this past Tuesday. So we'll have to wait until then. I have to say that just my personal impression, that is absolutely amazing. It is definitely what you would expect a car like this to look like. This is obviously the first hypercar from Pininfarina. I'm sorry, guys, you're just going to have to wait, but for now, you just kind of take my word for it. If you're one of the few people who are actually, able to consider this car, I definitely encourage you to contact Pininfarina. The link is in the description of this video, and I think you will be blown away as well if you get to see this car, this prototype, as they essentially taking it on tour here in the United States. All right, guys. Once again, if you have any comments, questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.